I'm from India, so it was, I think so, in like ninth grade, I decided that I want to go to US to
Uh-huh.
pursue graduate studies in aerospace engineering. So that was my goal, uh, and howsoever I worked hard and everything, and I was able to um, go to Rutgers,
Mm-hmm.
bachelor's in aerospace engineering. And in my first semester itself, I started talking to professor. But since I was a person with like very less experience, it took some time to find the first opportunity. But when I did, it was really great, and I straight away found my like strong interest in research, which I always had like in my mind, but it came out in like practical work. And I
Mm-hmm.
started some mechanical, like 3D printing kind of research,
Mm-hmm.
but gave me a lot of like a learning that what it is like to be like research and how I need to carry myself, not only in like terms of research, but like I learned a lot about like presenting your research and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, from there, when once I gained like good experience of like 8 to 9 months, I decided to move to more aerospace engineering side of things. I did learn a like lot of things, but few things that I took from my first experience was like smart materials and everything.
Mm-hmm.
um, to put that into use into like aerospace engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So once I found that there was this professor, Dr. Edward DeMoro at Rutgers,
Mm-hmm.
um, who talked to me, and we clicked, and we clicked in the sense that he really um, appreciated my passion towards research and aerospace engineering, and he wanted to support me through
Mm-hmm.
my um, and then I switched my labs, and I did. He specialized in supersonic experimental, so that's where I started my like core aerospace engineering. At the same time, um, when I met him, um, I, along with two of my other friends who I made at Rutgers, we decided to pursue this competition, which was on like between Big Ten universities on like Alka sites and rockets. So it was called like it was a world record kind of challenge, and it was really fun. That was like fun and lot of learning. It was like a 1.5 year project. So we had mentor as Dr. Edward DeMono, and he was also my research advisor at that time. So it was really good. We actually went. That was me going to NASA for the first time. We were invited because we finished in like the top three schools. And
Johnson looks like you went there, right?
in Houston, Texas, and it was a dream come true for me.
Right,
Um,
right.
I do want to put it out there, like my passion for aerospace engineering, like many others, I feel like didn't grow because of like the space thing. It grew because of more um, aeronautical stuff like planes and VTOLs and helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's why. So once this experience I got this experience of NASA, I didn't want to stop. And as soon as we came out from this competition and we won like second prize in that, I was looking for some other project, um, and that's where I was first in.
And this is all in your bachelor's, correct?
This is all in my bachelor's.
Okay.
So I, exactly at this point, I was introduced to a very important thing which I'm currently pursuing, which is VTOL. Boeing started this competition of making like the first electric VTOL and everything, and that got my interest. So again, I got those friends who I started with, and then it it became a very huge team. It became a team that of like 20 people,
Mm-hmm.
including some sophomores and everything. And that went to like end of my like bachelor's. It was like it became the department supported us, and it became our senior design. But in terms of like research at that point of time, like I said, like smart materials and aerospace engineering. So there was this professor, Dr. Andres Arrieta, at Purdue. He was in ATS Zurich when I started following his research, and then I found out after some time that he was at Purdue. So I contacted him and I said that I really want to pursue this opportunity, and I really want to get into smart materials with aerodynamics and everything. So it's basically like fluid structure interaction kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he accepted me to this program, which is called like the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship. And I
Mm-hmm.
went. It was a tremendous experience. I came out with so much experience and a feeling of what it is like to be a graduate student, because I was working with so many people. My mentors were PhD students. I got like role models there, and
Mm-hmm.
that confirmed my plans to go to graduate school.
Okay.
And just after,
So after you finished your bachelor's, you were not interested at all in going to working or something, or a
no,
job? Okay.
I was pretty sure that I want to go to grad school.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Uh,
Go ahead.
yes. So after this Purdue itself, it was like this 3 month in my junior year. I went to
Mm-hmm.
Denver, where it was. I have still a lot of passion towards wind engineering, because I feel that is one technology I can contribute to, which can make a difference in future.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this summer school, and it was it was a very good experience for me, especially like looking at what industry does. It didn't demotivate me to go to industry, it just made me more sure about graduate school.
Okay.
And then once I returned from there, I just started doing two things uh, very meticulously. Was number one, research. I focused all my attention in my last year in my research with Dr. Edward Demoro in like doing PIV, Schlieren, and all those things. And other thing that I did was like applying to graduate school. I
Like prepare for GRE and everything.
yes, I did prepare for GRE, but I spent a lot of time contacting
Yeah.
professors.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Opportunity to write a conference paper, because of which I was able to get some scholarship and some travel grants to go to
Right.
those
Right.
conferences and meet those professors. So I met a lot of professors before deciding
Right. Right.
where I want to go and what I want to do. And I was pretty sure that whatever I'm doing, my real interest, which I started when I was in India, was CFD, and
Got it.
I just wanted to reach to some place and do CFD.
Right. Right.
And I was very fortunate that I got like really good offers in my graduate school
Mm-hmm.
from universities, but out of all of them, I decided to go to RPI because
Okay.
it my interest very
Okay.
well. Rotorcraft, wind energy, VTOL, and CFD. How
Okay.
it
Got it. So looks like I have your questions also here. So looks like you have a lot of interest in working in national labs and so forth, right? Is that what your primary thing? And if you have any other questions, I will more than happy to answer that also. Okay, don't just not stick to those ones. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Are you an international student, or you are a green card, or are you a US citizen?
No, I'm an international student.
Okay. And the other question is, when you went to your undergrad, you had a loan, or that is not a problem at all, the loan and all that.
I'm taking care on the side
Yeah, yeah.
for
But
that.
what I'm saying is, do you have to worry about loan on future, or you are well off that you don't have to worry? That's my question.
Um, I have to think about it. Not that it is like really like something, but yes, I have to with along with my family a bit. But I would like to do it by myself, which I'm
Okay.
currently.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Because the reason I ask both questions, because they are very relevant in what you're gonna do versus what you can get, right?
Mhm.
So things like that. Okay. So couple of things I will comment on your CV and whatever you have told me. I think you are in very right direction and you are doing fine, whatever you have done. And it looks like you're gonna be graduating in 2024 and all that. So yeah, that's really far away. But I can tell you what you can do now, certain things, right? And where you can help yourself as you move
Mhm.
forward. So first thing first, make sure you do a good job in your PhD. That means PhD, and I'm pretty sure you're going to do it, but make sure you have a good amount of publications.
Okay.
So again, another question comes: what's your plan after you do your PhD? As you said, this is your interest. You want to, work in a national lab and on and so forth, right? With whatever the area of your interest in. So a couple of things. So there are two type of national labs, and I'm talking about US here. Okay. The one labs are DOE labs, Department of Energy, and the other labs are DOD labs, Department of Defense. So the DOD labs, as an international student, you can't go.
Mm-hmm.
That's plain and simple,
Yeah.
including labs at NASA, including labs at including other labs or industries who are defense related. Okay, they
Mm-hmm.
come like Boeing, if they are on the not a commercial side, but I'm not sure what their role is. But Northrop Grumman, um, or your Lockheed Martin, or your what's the other one? Yeah, UTC, or they have new, what's the new name for that? Forgot. But those are the companies and versus the national labs. So they are out of your range
Mm-hmm.
until you become a US citizen, not just a green card. Okay, that's number one. So what are left with you? So you left with DOE labs.
Mm-hmm.
And so DOE labs are your Oak Ridge National Lab is one lab, PNNL, Pacific Northwestern North Pacific Lab, that's another one. So those labs are DOE labs, and you can Google them, which one are DOE labs.
Yeah.
So those are the one which will be open to you hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if you do a really good job, and by the way, another thing is JPL, because they are part of Caltech. I think
Mm-hmm.
they hire international students too. So just keep that eye. But JPL, NASA as such won't hire you, but through Caltech you can get hired,
Mm-hmm.
because I know some international students who work there. So just another option there to look at. And I don't know how the immigration is going to go forward, but it looks to me that it's if you have an advanced degree, immigration is going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So versus if you have a bachelor's or master's,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
plain and simple. So having a PhD degree is the right thing to do for, especially for students who is coming from India. That's the only way, as of now, you can stay in this country
Mm-hmm.
for short term and long term both. You don't have to worry about visa. So and for the labs who are DOE labs, they hire people from universities, international or not. The usual process is you go through. There are also hiring directly from PhD program, but usually what they do is they have a postdoc programs. So you join a postdoc program and then you get become a staff member if they have a position open up there. But in all the cases, especially for national labs, I would say publication, publication, publication. That's it. There is no shortcut there. I mean, you have to have publications, you have to have good citations, you have to have things like that. And that is the only way you can get actually your immigration done too. Because let's say if you have just a PhD and no credentials, then it's not good at all. There is no way. So that's the reason I'm telling you that will gonna help you, because you're talking about 2024. I'm pretty sure. So if I look 10 years back when I graduated in 2009 10, versus now, things, the immigrations has it has is has become much difficult, much tougher. That means that means is, for a student who has bachelor's, the chances of getting a green card is almost zero, versus a master's who has probably another 35-40 years, versus a PhD who probably, if you have done a good job, 3-4 years as of now, 3 years or so. So you know that's the reason I'm saying is you are in right direction in that sense.
Mm-hmm. I see.
But definitely having a national lab postdoc or something would be a good idea to go in. At the same time, I would say they have summer schools. So I know about Oak Ridge, so I can tell you that since I was there. They have summer schools, they have internships, they have things like that that you can apply,
Mm-hmm.
and you can work there in summer. And the more you go there, the more you work there, the more people know you, the more network you have. And if you know someone, it's easy to get in, as like anywhere. just like same thing you did with your PhD, like, you started talking to professors. So you can do that in summers or internship. And sometimes what happens, if you have a project that you are working with, which is linked with, someone, a component of it linked with a national lab or industry or somewhere, then you can always, use that link. And many times what happens is, because I have seen that at Oak Ridge, many times people used to come there to do their experiments. So you can do, I think they have like a, let's say if you're in what they call an instrument time or something, so you can apply for instrument time that's free of cost for any student to go in and work in a lab. And if you want to use any microscope or things like that, or their facility, if you find a unique facility there that you can run your experiment, you can always write a proposal and submit it. And I have done that at my PhD. So I used to go to Nist, National Institute of Standard and Technology, up in Bethesda, and they had a nuclear reactor for neutron. So I have used that to figure out the texture and deformation behavior and so forth for my thesis. So I have used that, and you work with a person over there and so forth. Again, that was the lab that doesn't hire PhD international students, so it didn't help me. But what I'm saying is, if you go to a DOE lab, that I can help you out.
I see.
Okay. And again, I'm just browsing your question. Publications definitely are number one priority. Um, key ingredients to gain post PhD opportunities, post PhD opportunities in national lab. I think the best way is the postdoc. And especially, I can tell you about Oak Ridge. They have a specific website dedicated for postdocs. So you can say, just Google it, Oak Ridge postdocs, and you can see list of postdocs that comes out every year. I'm not sure if there is a thing called interns for interns there, or there is something which is for other, other type of a summer program or something, but they are announced separately. So always keep an eye about summer programs and things like that. And it could be possible, I'm not sure, it could be possible that they may allow interns at DoD labs, but again, I'm not sure. But definitely a full-time job over there would be something very not possible, because of, and looks to me is going to be more difficult and difficult as you're going to move forward in coming years or so forth. It's not getting better for sure. So another one of the thing I want to tell you here, I just had actually before you, I was speaking to someone, a student from Morocco, and I asked him what he wants to do, and he said, I want to be a automotive engineer. Yeah. So I said, what in automotive? Like, automotive is a big field. What do you want to do? And he said, I like fluid mechanics, and I enjoy that. So my answer to him was the same as I'm going to give it to you. Focus on skill set. Okay. Let's say if you said I think you that's what you're doing to computational fluid dynamics, right? CFD and all. That's your skill set. And you can apply that skill set anywhere you want. Anywhere. It can be automotive, it could be batteries, it could be SpaceX, it could be Tesla, it could be Boeing, it could be someone is trying to design a heat exchanger and trying to see the flow of fluid or flow of gases. Here is the you need fluid mechanics guy. So again, don't force yourself to a certain technology, because technologies can go and come back and go and come back. But your strength is your skill set. Focus on that. Don't focus on, okay, I'm interested in aerospace or this or that. Because at the end of the day, the reason why I say so is that at the end of the day, you need a job, right? And let's say right now, for example, let me give you an example. As of now, the oil and gas industry is doing bad. Automotive industry is laying off people. Aerospace, as you can imagine, GE and Boeing, you have heard that they have laid off so many people in last 2 months. So what are you going to do? So are you going to say, I'm going to sit down and wait for them to come and give me a job? No. So again, what's your skill set is, that becomes the forefront. So if I am looking, so let's say if I'm designing a microfluidic channel for drug delivery, okay, And I need a guy who's a fluid mechanics guy, because I will need that, because I have to design those channels. So I want you to be the person who can do it. So again, coming back to the point, skill set becomes important, and that's what you want to show to people. So let's say if you're applying for a job or internship, whatever, and there's a company who deals in windmill design, or there's a company who wants to design fuel cells, or there's a company who is designing, as I said, any injector parts, or a nozzle for spraying or whatever, right? Doesn't matter. If you let's say if there's a additive company, additive manufacturing company who wants to design a complicated design, but he is not sure that the flow channel will work, or what should be the design, whether curvature is right or not, or whether the two ducts that are coming are gonna have a right size nozzle so that the fluid can mix evenly, whom they need a fluid mechanics guy. So again, skill set is important, not the technology. So, and that's how you should represent yourself, that I'm an expert of. So if you ask me, I say to people, I'm the material scientist and I can apply my knowledge to aerospace, automotive, whatever. You can give me batteries. I can tell you what type of material batteries need. You can tell me what material that is required by at the tip of aero or entry vehicle, or I can tell you that. So that's my point.
I see.
I'm not limited to a technology, and I don't want to limit that, because that's where I can learn a lot. And I have realized that very quickly in my career, that because I used to work for Rolls Royce, and they laid off people, and that was a fuel cell company. And we had actually fluid mechanics engineer who used to work in that company and used to design fuel cells, and based on the flow of gases and so forth, the design and so forth. So again, if I would say I'm a guy who works in a fuel cell industry, or I should say I'm a material scientist who help fuel cell to come up with the new materials. And I can do that in aerospace, and I can do that in automotive. I can do that anywhere, right? So that is important, because that
Interesting.
technology was gone. They laid off. What happened then? So again, coming back to the point, that's what your strength will and should become.
Okay. Okay.
That's a very
Okay.
important lesson. Trust me. Nobody told me. I have realized that on my own, and it has been working awesome. I'm able to move now to any industry. This is my fourth job, and I have been moving very swiftly. I never had a problem. And I know a lot of people who got stuck in that scenario, and then have trouble saying that, okay, I don't know anything other than this particular technology, and nobody needs that now, right? And as for an international student like you, trust me, this will be very, very important. So coming back to the point, tomorrow if you're working in a national lab and you have a project from NASA that they want to design something, so what you're going to say? No, sorry, this is not aerospace related, I can't do. No, you're going to say, oh, this is a good problem for fluid mechanics, here I am, right? So
I see.
remember that. Yeah.
Okay. I think so that was very helpful, very much needed, because there are a lot of things, and as soon, like, not only when I came in as in graduate school, but before, but right now it's a time where I'm being exposed to so many different things, and so many things are like coming up, like AI, ML, and then you have quantum
Again,
computing.
right, again, as I said, those are the skill set that you need, and you can apply that anywhere, right? So for example, a person who is a machine, who knows how to write a code, and who knows the ins and outs of algorithm that are related to machine learning, they can apply it anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, a skill set is more important here,
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
a certain technology. So just remember that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, one thing I do want to ask you with regards to a national lab, first question will be on national lab, is there are a number of programs like in Argonne, in Oak Ridge, then there's Lanel and all everywhere where they do get interns, graduate interns. So, is there a right time during your PhD? Like, do you want to be mature enough so that you can actually show, or they are here to make you learn things? Like, what is the intention of people there when they are? hiring people?
Interns, the purpose of hiring interns is to educate them, is not to get out something from them.
Okay.
It's a training program.
Okay.
So here is the answer. You are ready to learn whenever you want. It's not a job.
Mm-hmm.
It is there for you to learn something. You're there to
Okay.
learn. Nobody is going to judge you, or you did not deliver this. Yes, you will have deliverables based on what you learn,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for a PhD student, I would say as early you do, better it is, because later on you will be busy in writing your thesis. You won't have time, at least in last 1 year or so. So earlier you are, better you off.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
And if it's related to your PhD program, or what you are doing, then it's way better, because let's say if you get an internship in ketchup company, what are you going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, related to what you do is better it is, yeah. And sometimes, as I said, let's say you are able to figure it out how to relate your PhD versus the work, and then you can go back and forth. And a lot of people do that, yeah.
I see. Um, the second question that I want to ask is postdoc. I feel like there are very good programs. Um, I'm not looking again what exactly on what lines you said about the skill set. I'm looking towards that. There are very good programs like CTR in Stanford, the Center for Turbulence Research. Then there is UT Austin, and then all the national, especially like the three I mentioned, LAML, AML, Oak Ridge. The reason why choosing this is because number one, definitely there's fluid mechanics like CFD and all, but secondly, all these places have um, supercomputers at like if you are there, you are like you can use those supercomputers of those respective places, and
Mhm.
with some brokerage and all these things, I really want to get those opportunities. So, but then your second question that you initially asked me, like the money thing, the loan thing. Um, that is something that is which I'm not able to decide, or maybe it's too early to decide right now whether I want to go as a postdoc or I'm looking for like a position which is in research. Do you think that a postdoc is necessary to reach to a place like national lab or like a career in research?
So let me tell you a couple of things. And I can't answer that question because it's totally going to depend on at that point and what you have in your hand,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I can't speculate. The only can
Mm-hmm.
I tell you the differences.
Okay.
There is a big difference between doing a postdoc at national lab versus as any academic or university. Number one is the amount of money you're going to get in a national lab will be twice. Okay, just
Okay.
twice. Number two, national lab, the postdocs is works like a training program.
Mm-hmm.
Versus as an academic, as you can see, if you're a professor at postdoc, they demand them to work and they want them what to want. So it's a very different thing.
Okay.
And it's just the nature of work, because over there I think the pool of money that comes to a postdoc has a different criteria, different value, and national lab sees in a different way. So I have done postdoc in a university, I have done postdoc in a national lab. That's the reason I'm telling you the difference.
I see.
uh, it doesn't mean that but here I can tell you I had a better experience. I learned a lot when I was a postdoc in Johns Hopkins, and I have very good experience, and I really enjoyed that. But when I went to Oak Ridge, the money was twice. The independence was quite a lot. I can write my own proposals. I can collaborate with different people. There was a big team of people, and it's a totally atmosphere. And there's a big postdoc people. Like there's a lot that comes every year, like 100 postdoc they hire, and you become a part of the team. And it's very synchronized and very helpful. Again, what you enjoy. But definitely, as I said, from money point of view, if you're a postdoc in a national lab, you don't have to worry about getting less money. You It's a good money.
I see.
I'm telling you, people who are a postdoc in a national lab and they go back to university, it would be horrible for sure
Mm.
from money standard point of view. So you
Okay.
don't have to worry about money as such if you are a postdoc in a national lab, for sure. The money is relatively very much better.
I see.
But
I see.
again, It totally depends on, that's the money aspect, right? But then becomes what you do there when you are there. Because the value of work you do is going to become the part of your next step, right? So
Mhm.
let's say if you get a postdoc in a very good professor in a good institution versus getting a postdoc in a national lab, what do you choose, right? So that becomes a very good, a challenging question, because as I said, because postdoc in a national lab are more independent, so a lot of burden comes on your shoulders to do things, to manage things, which is good and bad also. But then if you work in a big group, let's say if you get a really good group, big group in a university and so forth, and definitely they're not going to pay you as national lab, but you may get a better experience and things like that. Again, depends on the professor too.
Mhm.
Because when I was a postdoc in Hopkins, my professor allowed me to travel to Japan and things like that. So I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. And both at National Lab too. Both advisors were really good. So it really depends on the advisor too. But I would say National Lab is more versatile in terms of it's like a training program that the 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 aspect of postdoc over there is like we are training these people, not like we need to get out something from them. That's not the intention.
I see. I see.
Yeah. But
Uh,
then if you become a postdoc in a national lab, that doesn't guarantee you to become a staff member also.
or it doesn't?
No.
Okay. I
Yeah.
see.
Because they hire, let's say 100, 200, and probably they depends on opening, they hire probably three or four or five people, so not more than that. So it's not a competition, but let's say if you work in a group, let's say you are working in a group of material science group, right? And if there is an opening out there and they feel that you could be a good person, they will hire you. But if they don't have a position, what they can say, right?
I see. I see.
So postdoc doesn't guarantee a permanent position in a national lab. A postdoc
Correct.
is a postdoc, and you can't do for more than 2 or 3 years. There's a limitation to that too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask. Sorry for taking a lot of time.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Um, what are the prospects? And I'm talking purely from like research side, I would say, of once getting a PhD from US or a US institute and then going anywhere in the world. What and what same on same line? What are the prospects after you do a very good postdoc, let's say in university or national lab, and then going abroad anywhere else to pursue like research career?
I didn't get the question actually. What you're trying to ask me?
Well, let's say once I complete my PhD,
Mm-hmm.
then let's say to move to some other country, maybe India or maybe some other country in Europe or somewhere, or Australia or somewhere. Is Do you think there are prospects like research prospect or like job prospects? Um,
So,
and do you,
as I said, I have friends who have done their PhD in US and they are professors now in IITs in India. I have friends. And I have friends who have done their PhD here and have become professor in US, right? And I have friends who are now working at National Lab, and I have friends who are working in industries also. So there are examples out there everywhere. So what I'm saying is, you will be one of those people who will find your place on your own. Important is what you do right now, how good you are in. There may be some unfortunate circumstances that happen, like this COVID happened, nobody knew, right? And many people have to make tough decisions, but that's a separate story.
yeah.
When I graduated from my PhD program, I didn't have a job. I cannot find a job in an industry. I had just one interview because at that time the housing market crashed and everything was so bad even after 1.5 year. So what I would like to do or what I want to do. But I always had this mind is probably I want to become a professor, and that was the reason I came to US, to become a professor. Or I would go back to India and become a professor. And but the circumstances were such that when I had to join a postdoc program, I was loving it, because still I have this in my mind that I will become a professor, and that was the only way I could do it. I had never had this like I will go to an industry. I never had this mind.
Mm,
And then I found job at Oak Ridge. That was after that, so I went there. It wasn't even then, doesn't happen to me. I was still thinking I become a professor. And in the meantime, Rolls-Royce had said that they want to hire someone to lead this group. And they said, oh, they offered me. I said, okay. So, things happen, but
Mm,
I didn't dwell on that. I didn't say, okay, I want to, what I will do after my PhD. When I was doing PhD, I was focused on doing PhD.
mm,
You do what you are there and do good, things will happen. That's what my point is. But if you screw up what you are doing and based on what can happen, you're going to screw here and you're going to screw there.
yeah.
Because the only here's the thing, that doesn't matter where you are, where you go, what you do, how bad the situation is, they will always need good people. So whether, let's say, talk about whether you can get, so people ask me sometimes how you were able to find a job at Lockheed. Dude, it took me 10 years to be here, not only from what I was able to do, but also how I was able to tackle the immigration, how was I able to do good, how was I able to figure it out. Because as an international student, I was like you, nobody hires, nobody hires. So it takes time, but not only that, it takes so much effort. And that's the whole idea, that is the whole thing. And I did not do my bachelor's here. I came from India, so I had very less idea about, much lesser than what you have. But but all I'm saying is, when I was an undergrad in India at IIT, when we decide to come here when I decide to come here, I didn't came here because I want to stay in US. I want to study good. That was my intention. I want to do PhD. I was so clear in my third year, I want to go for a PhD. End of the story. So I went and did PhD. But when I did PhD, I have only goal in mind, I will become a professor. Or probably I was an undergrad, I was clear I want to become a professor, actually, if I have to say. So all I'm saying is just focus what you want to do. Just say you have a focus. This is what I want to become. Trust me. There, I tell someone, if I ask you, okay, Abhishek, what is your mission statement 10 years from now, where you are, would you say? Tell me.
Um, I
What do you
want,
want to become? So let me ask you, it's a very simple question. Tell me, not in a paragraph, but in 2 lines, where you want to see yourself in 10 years. Give me the answer.
I want to be a scientist in national lab.
Okay. So there is a problem here now. You did not told me where and which country. And the reason why I say, tell you why, because if you tell me I want to become a research scientist at Sandia National Lab, so that tells me you want to stay in this country too, right? Because you can become a you can become a scientist in India or Europe or somewhere. So if you are clear on that point, trust me, now you can join these 2 points in a straight line and you know how to go straight forward. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And if you know there to how to go, you will figure it out, because then you will know, okay, if I want to become a scientist at Sandia, even it doesn't matter how good I am, I need to figure out my immigration too, right? So
I
you
see.
will work every aspect of it. But if you have a vague mission of a statement, I want to become R&D engineer in automotive company. Many people say that to me. I said, this is such a vague statement. So clear aspect of that, but also I would say open to opportunities anywhere else also. If you find a good opportunity, whether it's India or whether it's so let's say if there's an opening come up and they need someone at ISRO to design new spacecraft, I mean they are privatizing it. I would, if I was you, I will go, just because this is one of the good things. And it can happen that they may have, I'm just telling you, they may have a internship opening, and if I find it, I will apply. What's wrong with that too? So again, experience. Right now it's your time to gain experience, because the reason I say so is, let's say uh, you apply and become an engineer at ISRO, and then you don't like it, versus you go there for an internship and you know what you are going to get. So you can make a choice now, right? So expose yourself to different things. Like you said, can I become a scientist in Switzerland? Yeah, of course. But if you go there, what happens if you're not going to like it? So right now is the time to figure it out, find it out, right? So go and do an internship there and say what is going to happen, whether I'm going to enjoy it or not, right?
I see. I see. I see. Yeah, I think so. This was very important, maybe, and especially like very helpful talking to you,
Sure,
because
sure.
it made me realize that um, there are times when I really have to bring myself back to the present and focus on like what is currently going on, and then when I do that, I start doing good work.
Yeah, but I would definitely say I think you look very focused person, and your CV speaks about that. So just keep doing it, and trust me, don't think too much, because if you're gonna think too much, what's gonna happen and all that, and news and all that shit, it's not gonna help you at all. What you can do right now is do best out of yourself. So if you from your PhD, if you're going to come out of with 5 or 10 good publications, you did your good job, and trust me, everything will figure it out after that. So
So
yeah.
I see.